So without further ado, let's begin the fifth of our mystery short stories. The short story is called A Surprise Witness for the Highland Press Case. Before we begin, I'd like to warn you, as you already know, that there's an interactive part at the end where you get to answer one of the questions so you can solve the mystery short story. At the same time, this mystery short story is a bit more challenging than the others. Every short story, basically every story in general, requires active listening, unless you're the reader. It's just important that in this story, the challenge pushes you to really dive deep into the facts of the story so that you can actually solve the mystery short story. A Surprise Witness for the Highland Press Case. Normally, Jane Forrester didn't waste her time even thinking about buying a lottery ticket. The logic of such a move, given the odds of winning, had always eluded her. It was only after she left the Toby Jug the day before Christmas that Jane gave the idea serious consideration for the very first time. Standing there in the parking lot, digging in her purse for her car keys, it occurred to her that she might well be on a streak of good luck. First, there was the matter of bumping into Wally Burks. Well, not just bumping. She'd walked right into him, almost knocked him over. She'd been heading for the one empty stool at the bar in the Toby Jug, then suddenly changed her mind and walked to the back to use the washroom. With her thoughts on trying to identify just which one of the patrons was Wally Burks, she crashed into the back of a man in a blue parka who'd stopped suddenly at the entrance to the little alcove. Directly ahead, a bright red door said "Private." On the left wall was the ladies' door, and opposite the gents', both in bright red. Funny how she remembered the colors, the red doors and his blue parka, and the truly ugly carpeting. Ochre. Who on earth picks ochre? Probably the color stuck because of the phone call just before noon. "You're Forrester," they tell me. "Jane Forrester." A gravelly and very pedantic voice had asked. "Well, I'm Burks. Wally Burks. That's Walter, of course, but the only one ever called me Walter was my mother, and actually she's been dead now. Oh, some 20 years. Even my teachers never called me Walter." "Sir?" Jane broke in just before she got a life history complete with favorite foods and all. "You wanted to speak to me about something, sir." "Well, actually, yes. You see, I've been sitting here thinking. Got lots of time to do that now. Actually, I'm retired, you see, and... Sir, could you tell me what it is you wanted to speak about?" Jane was trying to keep the edge out of her voice. Okay. Yes, right. Sure. The Highland Press Case. Outside the Toby Jug? That's my favorite pub. And I saw something. Well, actually, I should have called you before this, but you see, a person doesn't always want to get involved now, does he? And I was thinking, matter of fact, I was just saying to my brother-in-law the other day. Despite herself, Jane held off interrupting. The Highland Press Case was one of the open files on her desk, and every lead had been exhausted. Only a plum like a surprise witness was going to give her a break. "So, I was thinking, actually, I should meet you there, at the pub." Jane took a deep breath. "Yes, sir. That sounds like a good idea. Could we meet this afternoon?" "Actually, I was just going to suggest that. I'll be there wearing a gray parka, so you'll know who I am. It's got a nice black fur trim on the hood. My daughter and son-in-law gave it to me for Christmas 2 years ago. They live... Mr. Burks, can you be there at 3 o'clock? "Well, now, I suppose I could. You see, the pub's right on the way to..." "That's great, Mr. Burks. See you then. Bye for now." Between the time of that call and her visit to the Toby Jug, Jane Forrester tried without success to put Wally Burks out of her mind. It was obvious he was the kind of person who could make the charge of the Light Brigade sound like instructions for repotting azaleas. But the Highland Press Case was a stickler, and if he could help, then, as it turned out, Jane's time at the pub was mercifully brief. When she apologized to the man in the blue parka, he turned around very slowly. "Now, I recognize that voice, don't I, Jane Forrester? Actually, I was wondering how we'd meet. This is a pretty big place, and busy. I have to go in there, you see." With his thumb, he pointed over his shoulder at the doors. "At my age, a person has to, well, I don't want to talk about it to a lady. But you see, the thing is, I don't have my gray parka on like I told you I would. You'd never guess what happened. I went out to the back porch to get it. You see, before my wife got sick, we had the porch closed in. She always called it the sun room after that. I could never get used to that. A porch is a porch, I always say." At that very moment, another piece of good luck happened. Jane's beeper screamed at her, and even before she'd scanned for the number, she was saying, "Oh, Mr. Burks, I'm so dreadfully sorry. An emergency. Look, I have to go. Now, someone from my office will call you for your information. It won't be me, one of my colleagues." With that, she'd spun on her heels and disappeared before Wally Burks could wind up again. 3 bits of luck, she thought to herself in the parking lot, each saving her from wasting time with Wally Burks on the Highland Press Case. Definitely worth considering a lottery ticket. Now the question that the author asks is, Jane Forrester's accidental bump and her beeper sounding are 2 bits of good luck. The third is the clue that tells her Wally is likely not a reliable informant, for he's already lied to her once. What is that lie? Now, if you have figured out the mystery question, put that answer into the comment section below. And if you have not figured it out, I hope you enjoyed this video. Until next time, bye.